I never imagined that at 65 years old, after burying my husband of 40 years, I'd find myself standing in a police station, filing charges against my own son-in-law. But here I am. And this is the story of how I learned that sometimes the people who promise to care for you are the ones you need protection from most. My name is Catherine Hayes. 3 months ago, I was living in the home where Robert and I raised our daughter Nicole in Portland, Oregon. Then Robert died, suddenly, a massive heart attack while trimming the hedges on a Saturday morning. One moment he was there, humming along to the radio. The next, he was gone. Just like that, 40 years of marriage ended in the time it takes to dial 911. Nicole flew in from Seattle within hours. She held me at the funeral, made all the arrangements, fielded the casseroles from neighbors. She was my rock, my only child, my baby girl, even at 38. So when she suggested I move in with her and her husband Derek, I didn't hesitate. "Mom, you can't be alone right now," she'd said, squeezing my hand as we sorted through Robert's clothes. "Derek and I have the mother-in-law suite in the basement. It's perfect. You'd have your own space, but we'd be right there if you need anything." I should have paid more attention to Derek's face when she made that offer. That slight tightening around his mouth, the way his jaw clenched. But I was drowning in grief, and Nicole was offering me a lifeline. I took it. The house Robert left me sold fast. "Hot market," the realtor said. I packed up 40 years of memories into boxes and moved to Seattle in early August. The basement suite was nice enough, its own entrance, small kitchenette, bathroom. Nicole had decorated it with photos from my old house, trying to make it feel like home. "See, Mom? You'll be comfortable here," she said brightly, fluffing the pillows on the daybed. Derek stood in the doorway, arms crossed. "Just remember, Catherine, Nicole works from home upstairs. Keep the noise down during her work hours." It was the first time he'd called me Catherine instead of Mom or even Mrs. Hayes. Something about the way he said it made me feel like an intruder rather than a guest. The first few weeks were fine. I kept to myself mostly, took walks around the neighborhood, read in the small garden out back. My Social Security and Robert's pension meant I could contribute to groceries and utilities. I wasn't a burden, I told myself. I was just a mother staying with her daughter while I figured out what came next. But small things started happening. My phone would die overnight even though I'd charged it. I'd wake up to find my bedroom door open when I knew I'd closed it. Once, I found mud tracked across my bathroom floor, like someone had walked through in dirty shoes. I lived alone down there. "How did mud get in?" "Mom, you probably did that and forgot," Nicole said when I mentioned it. "You've been so stressed." Maybe she was right. Maybe grief was making me forgetful. Then my medications started going missing. I kept them in a weekly pill organizer on my nightstand. Tuesday morning, I went to take my blood pressure medication, and Monday through Wednesday were empty. I knew I'd filled it Sunday night. I always filled it Sunday nights. Had for 20 years. "Derek, have you seen my pill organizer?" I asked at breakfast. Nicole was on a work call in her office. He barely looked up from his coffee. "Why would I touch your pills, Catherine?" "I'm not accusing anyone. I just wondered if maybe you'd seen it when you came down to fix the furnace yesterday." "I was down there for 5 minutes. Are you saying I stole your medication?" His voice went cold. "No, maybe you took them and forgot. Happens at your age." There it was again. Your age, like 65, meant senile. I found the pill organizer 2 days later, tucked behind the water heater in the utility closet, in a place I'd never go, doing laundry. 3 days' worth of pills gone. And now I looked confused, forgetful, like the old woman who couldn't keep track of her own medication. That's when I started to understand. This wasn't about forgotten pills or muddy footprints. This was deliberate. Someone was gaslighting me. It got worse. Money started disappearing from my purse. Small amounts. $20 here, $30 there. My debit card was used at ATMs I'd never been to. When I checked my bank account, there were withdrawals I didn't make. Hundreds of dollars gone. I tried talking to Nicole about it. Honey, I think someone's been using my debit card. She was loading the dishwasher, her back to me. Did you cancel it? Not yet. I wanted to talk to you first. Do you think Derek might have… She spun around, and the look on her face stopped me cold. Don't accuse my husband of stealing from you. I'm not accusing. I'm just asking if maybe he borrowed. My husband doesn't need to borrow money from his mother-in-law. You're confused, Mom. Maybe the stress is getting to you more than we thought. That was the first time I saw it clearly. She knew. Maybe she didn't want to know. Maybe she was lying to herself too. But on some level, Nicole knew what Derek was doing, and she was choosing him over me. That hurt worse than the missing money. Things escalated in September. I woke up one morning with bruises on my upper arm, 4 oval marks, like someone had grabbed me hard. I had no memory of hitting anything, falling, nothing. I stared at those bruises in the bathroom mirror and felt something cold settle in my stomach. Someone had been in my room while I slept. Someone had grabbed me. I started sleeping with a chair propped under my doorknob. But then Derek complained I was being paranoid, making Nicole worry. What? You think we're going to hurt you in your sleep? He'd said with this smile that didn't reach his eyes. I didn't answer. But yes, that's exactly what I thought. It was Mrs. Chen from next door who first said something. She was 78, lived alone, took her morning walks the same time I did. We'd gotten friendly, talking about our gardens, our late husbands. Catherine, she said one morning in late September, forgive me for being forward, but are you all right? You seem, I don't know, diminished lately. I started to give her the standard response. I'm fine, just adjusting. But she put her hand on my arm, and I nearly burst into tears. I'm not sure, I admitted. I think, Mrs. Chen, I think something's wrong, but everyone tells me I'm imagining it. She studied me with those sharp eyes. What kind of things? So I told her. The missing medications, the money, the bruises, the gaslighting, all of it came pouring out on the sidewalk at 7 a.m. on a Tuesday morning, and Mrs. Chen listened to every word. When I finished, she was quiet for a moment. Then she said, My daughter is a social worker. She specializes in elder abuse. Would you be willing to talk to her? Elder abuse. The words felt like a slap and a validation at the same time. I wasn't crazy. This had a name. Yes, I said. Yes, please. That afternoon, I met Lily Chen at a coffee shop downtown, away from Nicole and Derek's house. Lily was in her 40s, professional, kind, and she didn't waste time. Mrs. Hayes, everything you've described is textbook elder abuse, financial exploitation, emotional abuse, possible physical abuse with those bruises. This is serious. But it's my daughter's husband, my daughter's house. That doesn't make it okay. In fact, it makes it worse. You're vulnerable, grieving, dependent on them for housing. That's exactly the kind of situation abusers exploit. She pulled out a pamphlet. Washington State takes elder abuse very seriously. There are laws, resources, protections. What do I do? First, we document everything. Every incident, every time money goes missing, every bruise, every medication that disappears. Do you have a way to do that secretly? I nodded. My phone, when Derek wasn't draining the battery or messing with it. Second, we need to consider your safety. If he's escalating to physical contact, that's dangerous. Do you have somewhere else you can go? I thought of my sister Ellen in Spokane. We weren't close, but she'd offered her guest room after Robert died. I'd turned her down because Nicole insisted I stay with her. Maybe, I said. Good. In the meantime, I'm going to refer your case to Adult Protective Services. They'll investigate. But Mrs. Hayes, I need to be honest with you. This might destroy your relationship with your daughter. She's either aware and complicit, or she's in denial. Either way, she'll probably side with her husband. I already knew that. I'd seen it in her eyes when I tried to tell her about the debit card. She'd already made her choice. She's all I have left. I whispered. I know, Lily said gently, but that doesn't mean you have to accept abuse. You deserve safety, Mrs. Hayes. Your daughter and her husband have a responsibility to provide that. If they're not, then you need to protect yourself. That night, I started documenting everything. I took photos of my bank statements, the ATM withdrawals I didn't make. I photographed the bruises on my arm. I wrote down every incident. Every time Derek called me confused. Every time Nicole dismissed my concerns. And I watched. I noticed things I'd been too grief-fogged to see before. The way Derek would come down to the basement at odd hours, claiming he was checking the furnace or the hot water heater. The way Nicole avoided my eyes now when we talked. The tension in the house that made me feel like I was walking on eggshells in what was supposed to be my safe haven. 2 weeks later, it came to a head. I woke up around 3 a.m., groggy, confused. My bedroom door was open again, and I could hear someone moving around in my small kitchenette. I stayed in bed, pretending to sleep, my heart hammering. It was Derek. I watched through barely open eyes as he went through my purse, took cash from my wallet. Then he opened my prescription bottles, dumped pills into his hand, put them in his pocket. He was stealing my medication, not hiding it to make me look confused. Stealing it, probably selling it. When he left, I waited 10 minutes to make sure he was gone. Then I took photos of my empty wallet, my rifled purse, my half-empty medication bottles. I sent them to Lily Chen with a message. He was just here. 3 a.m. Took cash and pills. Her response came immediately. Get out. Now. Do you have your car keys? I did. And my purse, what was left in it. I dressed quietly, grabbed my phone and charger, and slipped out the basement entrance to my car. My hands were shaking so hard I could barely get the key in the ignition. I drove to Mrs. Chen's house. She was waiting, must have called her mother. They let me in, made me tea, and Lily called the police from my phone. You have evidence of theft, financial exploitation, and possible drugging. You left because you felt unsafe. That's enough to start an investigation. The police came to Mrs. Chen's house at 4:30 a.m. Officer Martinez was patient, kind, took my statement, looked at my photos, called Adult Protective Services right then and there. By 8 a.m., APS was at Nicole and Derek's house. I wasn't there, but Lily told me later what happened. They interviewed Derek, who claimed I was confused, that I'd given him permission to manage my money. They interviewed Nicole, who started crying, said she didn't know anything was wrong, that her mother was just stressed from losing her father. But the evidence didn't lie. My bank records showed over $6,000 in unauthorized withdrawals. My medication bottles had Derek's fingerprints on them. The photos I'd taken showed the progression of abuse. The call came from Nicole at noon. I was at Ellen's house in Spokane by then, having driven straight through once the police said I was free to go. Mom, how could you? Nicole's voice was shaking. You called the police on Derek? On us? He was stealing from me, Nicole. He was taking my medication. He was trying to help manage your pills because you kept forgetting. I wasn't forgetting. He was hiding them, taking them, making me look senile. You're being dramatic. You're grieving and confused, and you've ruined Derek's reputation, maybe his career. Do you know what this does to us? What about what it did to me? My voice broke. I came to you for help after your father died, and Derek abused me. And you let him. You knew, Nicole. Maybe you didn't want to know, but you knew. She was crying now. He's my husband, and I'm your mother. The one who raised you, loved you, would have done anything for you. And you chose him. She hung up. That was 3 weeks ago. We haven't spoken since. The legal process moved faster than I expected. Derek was charged with financial exploitation of a vulnerable adult and theft. Nicole wasn't charged, but APS made it clear she was complicit through inaction. Derek's job found out. He's on leave pending investigation. Their church heard about it. Neighbors know. Nicole sent me one email. I hope you're happy. You've destroyed our lives. I'm not happy. I'm heartbroken, but I'm also safe, and that matters. I'm living with Ellen now, at least temporarily. She's been good about giving me space, not pushing me to talk. But I do talk to a therapist Ellen found who specializes in elder abuse trauma, and to other survivors through a support group Lily connected me with. That's where I learned this happens all the time. Adult children or their spouses abusing elderly parents, stealing their money, their dignity, sometimes their lives, gaslighting them into silence, isolation, making them think they're crazy or forgetful or too much trouble. It's an epidemic no one talks about, so I'm talking about it. I've started speaking at senior centers, at churches, anywhere that will have me. I tell my story, I show the warning signs, I give out Lily's contact information and the elder abuse hotline number. Last week, a woman approached me after one of my talks. She was 70, trembling, and she whispered, "My son's girlfriend. She lives with us. My jewelry keeps disappearing. My son says I misplaced it." I gave her Lily's number, told her to document everything, told her she wasn't crazy, she wasn't imagining it, and she deserved better. "But he's my son," she said, and I heard the echo of my own voice. "But it's my daughter." "I know," I said, "but that doesn't give anyone the right to abuse you. Not your son, not his girlfriend, not anyone. You deserve safety." She called Lily the next day. Last I heard, she's moved in with her sister, pressed charges, getting her jewelry back. That's one person. One life changed. One person who won't spend years being gaslit and stolen from and hurt by someone who should have protected her. Robert would be proud of me. I think about that a lot. He always said I was too trusting, too willing to see the best in people even when they showed me their worst. "Kathy," he'd say, "kindness is beautiful, but you have to protect yourself too." He was right. I wish he were here to see it, though. To see me standing up, speaking out, refusing to be quiet about what happened to me. I have a photo of him on the nightstand in Ellen's guest room, one from our last anniversary before he died. He's smiling at the camera, at me behind it, and there's so much love in his eyes it still takes my breath away. "I'm doing it, Robert," I tell him sometimes. "I'm protecting myself. I'm protecting others. Better late than never, right?" I filed for a restraining order against Derek. It was granted. He's not allowed within 500 feet of me. Nicole protested, said it was excessive, but the judge looked at my bank records and the photos of my bruises and said, "Mrs. Hayes has every right to feel safe." Approved. The criminal case is still pending. Derek's lawyer is pushing for a plea deal, probation, restitution. My lawyer, a fierce woman named Patricia Vasquez, who Lily referred me to, says we should push for jail time. "He preyed on a grieving widow," Patricia said. "Stole from you, gaslit you, physically handled you while you slept. He needs consequences." I think about that. Part of me wants him to face serious consequences. Part of me just wants it to be over. But then I think about that woman at my talk, and the others I've met through the support group. The 80-year-old whose grandson was draining her account. The 75-year-old whose daughter-in-law was starving her. The 63-year-old whose son was keeping her prisoner in her own home. They all deserved justice. I deserve justice. So, I told Patricia, push for jail time. Nicole sent me a birthday card last month. I turned 66. The card was generic, drugstore style, signed Nicole with no message. I held it for a long time, remembering when she used to make me cards with construction paper and glitter, when she'd plan elaborate birthday surprises, when she loved me more than anything. I sent it back unopened, with a note. "When you're ready to acknowledge what your husband did and what you allowed to happen, we can talk. Until then, I need space. I don't know if we'll ever have a relationship again. Some days I hope we will. Other days I think maybe some relationships aren't meant to survive, and that's okay. Not every ending is a tragedy. Sometimes it's self-preservation. What I do know is this. I'm 66 years old. I'm a widow. My daughter doesn't speak to me. I'm living in my sister's guest room and rebuilding my life from scratch. And I'm happy. Not the happy I was with Robert. That's gone forever and I've mourned it. But a different kind of happy. The happiness that comes from knowing you're safe, that you're using your pain to help others, that you refuse to be a victim in silence. I speak at churches now, senior centers, anywhere they'll have me. I tell my story. I show the warning signs. And every time someone comes up to me afterward and says, "I think this is happening to me," I know I'm doing the right thing. Last week, Mrs. Chen invited me to join her walking group. 6 women, all over 65, all widowed or divorced, all with stories. We walk every morning at 7 a.m., rain or shine. We talk about everything and nothing. We watch out for each other. "You know what you are?" Mrs. Chen said to me yesterday as we walked. "You're a survivor, and survivors have a responsibility to help others survive too." She's right. That's what I am now, a survivor, a witness, a voice for people who've been told they're too old, too confused, too much trouble to be believed. I'm 66 years old. I've lost my husband, my daughter, the home where I raised my family, but I've gained something too. I've gained my voice back. I've gained my power, and I'll use it to make sure what happened to me doesn't happen to someone else. Or at least, if it does, they'll know they're not alone. They'll know they can fight back. They'll know that family doesn't have the right to abuse you just because they're family. Robert used to say, "Kathy, you're stronger than you think." I didn't believe him then, but I believe him now. I'm stronger than I thought. Strong enough to leave, strong enough to press charges, strong enough to rebuild at 66, strong enough to turn my worst experience into a mission to protect others. That's my story. And if you're reading this, if you're in a situation like I was, please know this. You're not imagining it. You're not being dramatic. And you're not alone. Document everything. Tell someone you trust. Get out if you can. Call Adult Protective Services. Call the police. Call a lawyer. You deserve safety. You deserve respect. You deserve to sleep peacefully without someone rifling through your things, stealing your medication, making you doubt your own mind. I promise you, you deserve that much. And if no one else will fight for you, fight for yourself, because you're worth it. You're worth everything.